Hi guys, so we're going to review the vocabulary words. Intensity. We know that intensity is when we feel about something with great emotion. We're very serious about something. The intensity is the level of effort that we put into something, the level of feeling that we have about something. During the football game, the home team played with great intensity. They were very focused and they cared about their performance, and they were working very hard to achieve their purpose, which was to win the game. Endurance. Endurance is the ability you have to complete something, to finish it through till the end. It is important for athletes to work on improving their strength and endurance. People who play sports, athletes, work on their strength and endurance to help them when they are in competitions. It increases their endurance, the ability to finish what they have started. Forfeit. As a result of not having enough players, the team was forced to forfeit the game. Forfeit means you have to give up, you have to lose. The team was forced to forfeit because they did not have enough players, and you're not allowed to play unless you have the number of players required. Okay. Irritating. Irritating is when something is bothering you, pestering you, getting on your nerves. When I'm watching a movie, my brother can be irritating by asking me a lot of questions. So brother is bothering the person watching the movie by interrupting and asking lots of questions. So irritating is to bother, pester, or get on someone's nerves. Sorry. All right, retreated. Retreated. When it started to rain, we retreated from the field to the shelter of the picnic area. Retreated means to go back, to withdraw, to pull back. When it was raining, they went under the shelter. They moved out of the area where the picnic was because of the rain. So they retreated, they pulled back, they withdrew. Despised. Despise means to hate something. As a younger kid, I despised vegetables, but now I like how they taste. So she hated vegetables when she was young. Ancestors, the pictures on our wall show my extended family and ancestors. Ancestors are the people in your family that came before you. Honor. At the awards ceremony, they will honor the highest achievers. Okay? Honor means to pay tribute to recognize something good that someone has done. Next, we're going to go over to 256. All right, guys, on page 256, a Roman tradition. Come help me pick flowers from the garden, Cornelia's mother called. Cornelia got up and followed her mother outside. Their house stood on a hill outside the city of Rome, and from their garden, they could look out over the emperor's capital. What do we need the flowers for? Cornelia asked. To decorate the Laurarium, her mother said. She turned and pointed to the house's courtyard. A small building stood in the corner. It looked like a tiny temple. Columns held up its triangular roof, and a group of small statues and oil lamps sat inside. 3 times a month, we bring flowers and honey to the spirits of the household. That way, they'll protect our house and our crops, she explained. Hey, this is an old Roman tradition. It was done many, many, many years ago in the Roman Empire. It tells a made-up story about realistic characters and events that take place during a real time and place in history. So people actually did do this tradition many years ago in Rome, but this story is made up based on the events of what used to happen long ago. That's how we know it is historical fiction. In our story, we have dialogue. The characters are speaking to each other. Okay, so that's our literary element in this piece of historical fiction, is that we have dialogue. What tradition does Cornelius' family have? They bring the flowers. Sorry, I skipped number 3. I'm sorry. Do you think that dialogue is fictional or historical? Of course, the dialogue is fictional. It is made up. The story did not actually happen. So what they said could not have actually been said because it is a made-up story. Historical would have meant it actually happened in history. But because our story is made up, their conversation is also made up. The tradition that the family has is that they bring flowers and honey to what they call household spirits, so they'll protect the house and the crops. Of course, we know this is a superstition that was made up and that people did long, long ago because they thought it helped to protect them. Okay, all right. The last thing that we're going to look at today is the chart on page 262. 252, sorry, 252. All right. Now, these are details about what has happened in our story. I don't know if your chart has 3 or 4, but I believe 3, like mine. These are the 3 details that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to discuss what the theme of our story is. In the beginning of the story, winning the game of silence was so important to Omakea. She wanted to win, and she wanted to take her pick of the prizes in the prize pile. Many people came to the lodge because they had to discuss serious matters. What they came was very, very important for them, and they had to talk about it. In listening to the conversation, Omakase learns that her tribe may lose the land that they live on. Remember that the settlers were coming in and they were trying to take away the land from the Indians who owned the land. So what Omakase learned throughout our story, she started out thinking that winning the game was most important. When she knew the people were coming to discuss the serious matters, she listened and she learned that they might actually lose the land that they lived on. So the theme of our story is that we should understand and appreciate what is most important to us. She went from thinking that winning the game was the most important thing to realizing that losing the land she lived on and the house she knew was more important. Okay, so she learned what was important to her. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.